another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 5, Episode 13.
Or Episode 107 if you're counting.
So thank you, as always, for coming out to hang out with us. We are on YouTube now, and it is still a little wonky from time to time. Let us know if you ever have any problems. We will do our best to correct it. Things look more blurry to me than they really should, but I think for the most part, the show is okay. So long as we're audible, I think we're good.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
If you can see two blurs on your screen that look like they're talking, and you can hear those blurs, that's probably us. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Thanks as always to our contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this and all kinds of other shows like this happen all the time. As always, we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So what's going on today, huh?
Today, well, now, yeah, usually we do this, Q&A session right after our show. You know, anybody who's here live stays with us for an extra 30 minutes. But now we have an extra reason why we ended at the 30-minute mark, because this week marks the return of Stephen Colbert to TV on network. So happy. For some of you who might have been following us on social media, we went to our local Alamo Drafthouse Theater here in town, and they had a large screen showing of Colbert's first episode, and we actually got to be on kinda sorta local TV for that.
Yeah, for like a second.
We got t-shirts out of it.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert t-shirts for Late Show. You know, it unfortunately also has the local news Ken's 5 logo in the corner, but on the back it's all big and sprawled. Late Night with Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So that's a piece of history. Yeah, for sure.
Like I remember, because you know we have that piece of memorabilia. I remember I saw a guy come into the into my my place of work about, I guess it was about a year ago, and he had a baseball cap of The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. Oh, and
he must have gotten that right in the nick of time.
No, I asked him, I said, "Sir, where did you get that?" And he said, "Oh, I got this when NBC was just giving them away for like a buck at the store right after he lost the show."
Yeah.
And he thought about it, he tells me he thought about it for a second, like, maybe I should go back and get another one. Like, there were 8 on the rack. Mm-hmm. He turned around and they were gone.
Oh,
like, other people snatched them up. And I'm like, oh, so I guess you plan on holding on to it. He's like, holding on to it? Ever since I've had it, within the first week I had 8 offers to buy it off me for like $100.
Oh my god.
So yeah, the memorabilia hunters are out there for that sort of thing.
Definitely.
But it's good to have him back. It's nice to see that he's bringing the true nerdiness back that we needed represented on late night.
Yes.
You know, with, what is it, the D20 with all the presidential candidates reference.
I appreciate that reference, yes. And of course he's clearly the biggest Lord of the Ring nerds there could possibly be, especially on television at this given moment in time.
Oh, people are pointing out that I'm wearing my Ghostbuster shirt, but I'm a little ghostly right now.
You know what? I could probably play around with the settings, but you know,
no, you know what? It fits with the shirt.
I like it.
It fits with the shirt. You know what? We're going with it.
Yeah.
Screw it. We'll do it live.
So, before we go too far, some of you might have seen on Twitter just a little bit earlier, and I told some of those in the chat room before we got started. We are having something of a Twitter-related contest as it relates to this show, because, can we show this? Yeah. We got an extra one of these posters from this past week's
Check that out.
Force Friday event. Let me make sure you can... Yeah, you can see it. This nice Kylo Ren poster that we got out of Toys R Us, which I think you could have only gotten from Toys R Us during Force Friday, because I haven't seen them selling this.
No.
Maybe one day they will, but right now they are not. So we have 2 of them, and one of them is going to be ours. And the other one is going to be one of yours. Somebody out there.
So, just so you guys know, the rules are simple. We're going to ask 3 questions at the end of the show. 3 questions that you should be able to answer, because it's stuff that you see normally on every episode of the show. We'll ask those 3 questions, and then you'll go over to Twitter, hit one of us up, either at MarsGirl or at Josh Knight First. Make sure to use our hashtag BTBR.
I'm putting it in the chat right now also. Even if you don't tweet directly at us, we're pretty much the only people who follow that hashtag anyway. So, we'll see it so long as you use the hashtag.
Right.
Know? So, there's going to be 3 questions, and we're not necessarily expecting everybody to get all 3 questions right, although if you got all 3 of them, you'd probably be the first person to win the poster. So, it's going to be based more on, who got the most right and how quickly they got the most right.
Right.
You know?
So and we'll announce the winner tomorrow night, sometime in the evening. But yes, be on the lookout for that later in the show.
And just keep your ears out on the show, because really the answers, for the most part, are in the show.
Yeah, I just like to point out the cat is hitting me with her tail.
Siren, knock it off. Okay, you're done here. Goodbye. I love you.
At least she was more cooperative on tonight's episode.
That's true.
But yes, we did get that on Force Friday, and some of you might have seen that we were on Periscope, kind of live broadcasting for Force Friday, and we got a little bit of swag.
Yeah, for sure. You guys know that we're pretty big into Nerf-related stuff. I had wanted to get one of the larger weapons, but this was the cheapest one. This was the new First Order Stormtrooper kind of mini sidearm blaster. Really, it's quite the good little weapon, if I'm to be honest.
Yeah, the
Fire's
priming
fairly
on this,
strong.
the priming on that, I cannot emphasize enough how smooth that is.
Yeah, it's a really its weight balance feels really good in my hand, you know. But I really wanted Chewie's bowcaster.
Yeah, Chewie's
really
bowcaster was there. It took us a day to find the full-size Stormtrooper blaster, which looks so beautiful. But it's like $40 at like Target right now.
Yeah,
so we
just wait a little bit.
We kind of have a trip to plan for right now, so that's going to wait a little bit. I, on the other hand, picked up this nice little Poe Dameron action figure. It was a struggle to get this guy because, like we said, we were there at midnight last week over, really right after the show, at our local Toys R Us. This was, I'm not kidding, the last one they had. It was like Jingle All the Way. You know, people were pulling stuff left and right, like, oh, I'm gonna get that one, oh, I'll get that one. They were just cutting open boxes of those Funko figures and just handing them to people and then just letting them go at it.
Yeah.
Like, you fight amongst yourselves. I'm not getting paid enough for this
It's
crap.
like watching all the videos you ever saw of Walmart on Black Friday. That's what Toys R Us was like on Force Friday.
So Force Black Friday.
Essentially, yes. Especially if you were getting one of the Black Series figures, so yes.
And those ran out so fast.
Oh, yes.
But the thing about it, we were lucky enough, we checked out Toys R Us and then we went to Walmart.
Cat's tail showed back up again.
Siren.
Thanks.
You know what? Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. No, we ended up going after Toys R Us to Walmart. They had cupcakes.
Yeah, that was so nice of them. I imagine our Walmarts were not really nearly as hit up as hard. Like, I don't think the nerds in town. For one, we're not a hugely nerdy town. I don't think.
Somewhat. We've got a comic convention tomorrow
here
in town.
Yeah, that's true. But all the same, as far as big cities go, we're not the biggest of the big cities, and I don't think. I think that Walmart was.
I think we have the notoriety of being a small big city.
Yeah, that might be.
That's kind of what San Antonio is known for.
Mm-hmm.
But as such, you know, we saw that they had a few extra things there. They had those little, I still forget what they call them. Those little chip things.
The discs, they're published by Topps, you know, the guys who publish trading cards and stuff. So these are these little trading discs, these Star Wars trading discs, you know, about yay big. And,
about the size of a pog.
And you can, but they're thicker and they're plastic, and you can trade them, and there's a whole little mini game that goes around it. Like, there's these little bars, like 2, 3, 4, 5 bars on each side of these discs, and you line them up with somebody else's disc, and you basically say, my penis is bigger than yours, and then you win, and you start collecting discs, or something to that extent.
So it's like Pogs.
No, you don't
Well, you collect other people's stuff, right?
Much like other trading games, yes.
You know, I just thought about it. You know, Siren's tail's hanging over your head in such a way that we should just start lying and saying it's a boom mic.
But why would I want to do that?
There goes the boom mic. Thank you.
I'm done.
Doing a great job there.
So we should probably talk about what our segments are.
Yeah, we have a
news
show
stories.
tonight. That's right. Okay.
We actually have news stories for this evening.
Okay, so our first story of the evening's. This goes back all the way to, I think, our first show. This was the first segment
It either was
I
our
did.
first episode or it was our beta episode. It might
have been the beta
episode. So before the first episode.
In times long past. But the current generation Kamen Rider Battride War game is going to be revealed at Tokyo Game Show. Now we know that the title is Kamen Rider Battride War Genesis.
Battride War.
Battride War. Battride War. And we're going to talk to you guys about the playable characters, the characters that are not included, and what we're hoping to expect when we actually get to go to Tokyo Game Show and see this in person.
Yes. Following that, King Kong vs. Godzilla apparently is getting remade. Oh my god, wow. That
I'm a little scared.
came out of nowhere. Like, it could be awesome, but it could be crap. That's most remakes go.
Yeah.
You know? And we'll talk about the possibilities and what we do know and what we don't know, of course.
Yes. And then our last segment for the evening, again, we mentioned we're going to Tokyo Game Show. Well, an announcement was made this week by Square Enix of the not-so-secret announcement that they're going to be making there.
So, I think I'm gonna talk Tokyo Game Show in general, and then move it into Square Enix, and then move it into what is the secret to everybody that and we're gonna be there the day that they're doing their secret event, so we'll see firsthand what the hell is this secret. So I'm like scared excited for it.
Yeah,
really.
I feel you.
Yeah. So what else? Follow-ups? Yes.
Yes, follow-ups. All right. Woo. I have one job a week, and it's the follow-ups. Well, no, I mean, one
We
focus.
do this whole...
Yeah, we do the whole show.
We do the whole show together. Yeah. What are you talking about? Now, do this part of your job and tell me what our follow-ups are.
Okay, so on December 6th, Nickelodeon will go ahead and start airing Miraculous Ladybug, as we covered before.
Yeah, we talked about that show, French animated. It's CG, although very inspired by anime.
In conjunction with Toei Animation.
And, yeah, thus, for that reason, very anime-inspired, with Toei working alongside them. So, us getting it, like, it looks cute. It looks fun, and it looks very Japanese-inspired.
Right, and of course, like we talked about in the original story, the more press, the more ratings this show gets, that ups the chances that an anime adaptation can be made of it, which, you know, fans in other countries are hoping to get. So yes, definitely in December, check that out and support that. But enough of that, on to one of our favorite segments that we always do in the follow-ups, all of our non-stop coverage of Not Quite Justice League. That's right. Okay, so Not Quite Justice League.
Batman v Superman.
For this week. I'm gonna get right to it. Snyder's talking crap.
I understand he said some really kind of douchey sounding words in regards specifically to Marvel.
Okay, well, here's the way it breaks down. First and foremost, Steven Spielberg was quoted maybe about a week and a half ago as saying that in a certain amount of time, superhero movies are going to go the way of the Western. You know, back in the days, Westerns were saturated in the movie theaters. There was a Western every weekend you went to the movies. And he's saying it's the same thing with superhero movies. Like, after a while, they'll just be passé and they'll move on. Well, Snyder took it upon himself in an interview to defend superhero movies like, oh, well, they're part of our American mythology. They're never going to die out. And then he kind of kept talking when he really shouldn't have. Like, oh yeah, we're not like, you know, some other companies. We've got Batman and we've got Superman. You know, they're bigger. They're not like the flavor of the week Ant-Man. You know, it's not like people are going to be looking for who's the next blank whatever man. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, one,
he's so not helping.
He's not helping the case.
He's not helping his movie either. That makes me even less so than I wanted to before. I less so now want to go see Not Quite Justice League.
I mean, we're gonna see it. Like, that's just a given,
but it doesn't mean I want to, you know?
Yeah, because we're watching a train wreck. And the thing about it is, he's also gone on record as saying, you know, there's been the rumors up until just recently that the cut of the movie is very skewed towards Batman. There's more Batman in the movie than Superman. And Snyder's like, oh yeah, that was the plan from the beginning. Because we gave you guys a whole Superman movie. That's almost a direct quote. We gave you guys a whole movie with Superman, now we have to show you Batman. And he's pretty dominant for the first half of the movie, but then the second half it sort of evens out. So Superman has a bigger part in part 2, or you decide to include him in part 2, like, of the movie. Like, what are you saying to me?
Why not just take off the Superman part and just say it's Batman?
Featuring Superman.
Like,
it was the thing you were telling,
and occasionally the other members of the Justice League.
It was the thing you were saying to me earlier this week. It's like the Scooby-Doo movies featuring Batman. It's just
only replace Scooby-Doo with Batman, and then replace Batman
in the subtitle
with Superman. Yeah, like, that sounds really confusing, but in my head it made sense.
Yeah. But it's basically that. It's the Batman show featuring Superman.
Yes.
In related news to that, they have confirmed that November is going to be the start month for production on the Wonder Woman movie, and they are, in fact, as most people figured, they're aiming to have a full, or as full as they can, female crew working on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they're really diving into the whole Themyscira thing. Like, we want as many women on this project as possible.
Well, that's one positive note in WB's favor.
Just one.
Just one.
Yes.
One so far. I will give them that much. Good job, I guess.
Yeah, good for you guys. All right. In other DC-related news, we have some quotes about this upcoming season of The Flash. Really, they've been talking about the different characters that we're going to see in Season 2, specifically about this season's Bad Zoom. He's going to be very demonic, very focused, not too dissimilar from Dr. Wells this past season, who ended up being the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Dr. Wells is concerned, he will be back. Harrison Wells will be back, but since they've started dealing with this whole multiple universe thing, it will more than likely be a Harrison Wells from a different universe, dimension, however you want to phrase that.
Mm-hmm.
So that will explain why he's still a series regular. In addition to that, of course, from the universe of Earth 2, Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash, will be appearing there on the show, and his role in comparison to Barry Allen's role is that he's a little more weathered, he's been the Flash longer, he's a little more jaded with, you know, the role of a superhero, but it's in meeting Barry this season that he starts remembering what it means to be a superhero, what got him into it in the first place, and kind of re-cementing that, that original drive that made him want to be a hero.
Yeah.
And as such, I totally trust what they're doing with this. The Flash did an amazing job. You know, I've said this before with other shows, and I say it here. Certain shows have to come before it and mess up before the next show after it can, you know, take the ball and run with it. I say that about Decade going into Gokaiger. I say that about Arrow going into The Flash. Everything the...
But at least Arrow continuing on forward gets a chance to fix its previous screw-ups.
This is also...
Unlike other series that screw up and end only for another series to get it right.
This is very true. In addition to that, in Arrow news, so a lot has been made of the character John Diggle, who's kind of like Oliver Queen's right-hand man. And he's been mentioned before in the show, you know, if you're going to go out there every night, you kind of need a better disguise than just, a leather jacket. And so they've given him this...
Oh, what? Is this stupid helmet?
Yeah, stupid helmet.
Stupid helmet.
So
should I bigify this?
Yeah, bigify this, because here's... I don't exactly know how to explain the look he's going for here other than Magneto-esque. I mean, it doesn't really wow me.
Enhance.
I don't like apparently in the
it does look a lot like Magneto's helmet, doesn't it?
Apparently in the clips of the show there's actually like a black tinted visor that goes there where his face is, but it doesn't help. He still looks like Magneto. Mm-hmm. Like that's really not helping. Now, of course, this...
I have no idea what's going on in that series, but yeah, that's a dumb helmet.
Well, he's a man. He's just a man who used to work in the military.
In a dumb helmet?
Now he's wearing a dumb helmet.
Now he's a man from the military in a dumb helmet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that really helped things. Okay, moving on. We talked to you guys about, of course, the Assassin's Creed movie, how Ubisoft said that the movie is in accordance with the timeline of the games. Well, now... in a surprising move, Ubisoft has said they're going to open a theme park in 5 years.
Well, I'm just kind of like, yes, you keep making Assassin's Creed games, but is that because they're doing really well? Is that because people keep asking for them?
I don't think people are asking for them. I think they're just... It's basically shovelware.
Like,
now.
They're trying to force this image of how popular... Assassin's Creed actually is. Now, granted, the first couple of games were like, hey, this ain't so bad. But then you, kept making the same game over and over again, just in slightly different parts of the world and slightly different time periods.
Yeah, and progressively darker looking clothes.
Yeah.
Well, they say that's going to be the crux of what the theme park is based around, Assassin's Creed. And the other two biggest franchises they have, as far as turning into attractions, would be Rabbids. Those
yeah.
And Just Dance. But I'm trying to figure out, how do you turn Just Dance into, a ride or an attraction at a theme park?
I guess it could be like, you know how Disney did those, what is it? They have an American Idol section, or at least they did up until...
What was that, in the Hollywood Studios section?
I think so. And so, you know, every hour or two they would do like a half hour, 45-minute whatever show, and they pull people out of the audience.
No, yeah, you're right. I do remember that. We saw it there when we were there last year.
Yeah, so I would imagine that perhaps they would just like pick people out of a studio and then be like, all right, now dance. And maybe you have to follow a routine or something.
I guess, but that seems very dependent on people who are willing to get up and make a fool of themselves.
Are you kidding me? It's a theme park. Everyone wants to do that. Everyone goes, oh, me. Everybody does that.
Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense for that. Rabbids, you know, okay, you got costume people there. As far as Assassin's Creed goes, what is it, going to be like a jungle gym? That way you can, like, free run over what's supposed to be a very padded version of Paris rooftops? Like, is that... Maybe. I
don't know. It does seem
I do it,
It
but...
seems very far-fetched to me. It really does.
Yeah, like, Nintendo has a better shot at an amusement park than Ubisoft does.
Yeah.
Easily.
I agree.
And then our last bit of news for the evening, again going back to Star Wars news, it was originally reported that reshoots for Episode 7 were going to take place later this month, but it actually turns out it's not reshoots for Episode 7, it's preliminary shooting for Episode 8.
So they're already on that mess.
Out in Ireland.
They're already on that mess already before Episode 7 even hits theaters.
And we're at, what, 97, 96 days before release now?
Something like that, and even international audiences get it a day or two before we do. Those jerks.
Which means... stay the hell off Tumblr for 2 days before the movie comes out here.
Yes.
Because I do not want this movie spoiled.
No, I don't. I only want the information that Disney and Lucasfilm officially releases either through merchandise or interviews, that sort of thing. I only want that information.
Yeah, so that is all of our information from the follow-ups. Now we need to get into our actual show tonight.
Yes, and what was our first one again?
Bow Wow War.
Bow Wow War?
Bow Wow War.
Bow Wow War.
Yes. Or actually, I can just kind of move in there. The cool thing about it was I actually got to make that from some clean rips that the website gives you, which is now online.
Yes, good for you.
So yes, what you're looking at here is some key imagery from the next installment of the Battride War series, Kamen Rider Battride War Genesis. And this is the third game in the Battride War series. Of course, the original came out several years ago, around the time of Kamen Rider Wizard, and they've subsequently covered all the writers since then. Gaim, Drive never really got his own game unless you count this the PS3 one,
right.
Summon Ride.
And with all the little figures that act like...
It's basically like Skylanders, but for Kamen Rider.
Yes.
It's a fun game. Remind me to look for some of those figures while we're over there next week.
That's right, yeah.
Because they'll be
I bet they'll be cheap.
Yeah,
I bet you can find them cheap, sold outside of the packaging and everything. Just get the figures. Don't even worry about the packaging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this game in particular, they are finally listening to something I've been saying since the second game, and really, I guess, subsequently the first, which is that, yeah, it's fun to play in a kind of Muso-style game with Kamen Riders just running around beating up baddies, but what I really want to see is the chance to play as the older Riders, you know, from the original, 1971 series and on.
Hi, Siren.
Hi, Siren. Welcome back. And this game is allowing you to do so. Now, apparently, the gimmick this time around is that they're doing this game and it lines up with the 45th anniversary of the series, so as such there are 45 playable characters.
That's kind of hardcore.
Well, it makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense, and I'll explain why.
Okay, tell me.
Well, the way it works is that the current era, the Heisei era, from Kuga up till now with Drive now going into Ghost, all of those characters will be playable, and a lot of actually side characters that were just kind of what do you call them, strikers, I guess?
Yes.
Secondary characters that just kind of help out for a second and then disappear. Those characters are now playable, so characters like Gatak, Zeronos, Ixa, D-End, they are now fully playable in this game.
That's fun.
That'll be a little fun. Now, when it comes to the older writers, there are writers from Rider 1, and really it's Rider 1, 2, V3, Rider Man X, Amazon Stronger, Sky Rider Super 1, Z-Cross, Black RX, Shin Z, O, and J. out of all of those writers, only I believe it's 10 of them are playable. So Rider Man, Zekros, Shin, Zeto, and J are not playable.
Why make that decision?
I don't know. I want to say it was to adhere to the whole, oh, well, there's a 45 writer cutoff because it's 45th anniversary, but maybe I'm just speaking for me, but I would rather have original, core writers over secondary writers any day.
I would too, but do you think perhaps DLC? Like that...
There's a strong possibility.
The bane of my existence, DLC.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, is that they'll include the missing 5 writers from the Showa era as DLC, and that's kind of a dick move.
I hate that.
In most cases,
really
DLC nowadays becomes a dick move just to make sure you're making that extra little purchase because you really want those characters or those skins or in whatever game you're playing as. But in this case, where they're core people, like I was talking to some people on Twitter about it, like I couldn't understand why Rider Man didn't have it, because some people were theorizing, well, maybe it has something to do with it's only writers who had appearances in a television series, because admittedly Z-Cross, Shin, Zeto, and J all appear in, short movies.
Yes.
Rider Man, on the other hand, he shows up in V3. He's there in a very prominent role, and has showed up even since. In this most recent Superhero Tyson Grand Prix, he shows up there alongside V3. They're kind of a package deal.
Yeah.
And when he's getting his just due nowadays, I point out this fact that he uses a weapon in this most recent movie called the machine gun arm, because, that's kind of what he does. He rotates out weapons that go on his fake hand. The machine gun arm was something that was only created in Kamen Rider Spears, which was kind of the spin-off manga from the original series, and now in recent movies they've canonized that, like, no, that's an actual weapon he has. And if the character... which they kind of argued before, oh, he's not really the 4th writer. No, he's the 4th writer. They canonized that way back when. And now if you're going ahead and adhering to changes in the officially sanctioned manga, why wouldn't that character who you're giving his just due show up in this game?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, he needs the amount of due you're giving him. Why give him a back seat? I don't see why.
It does seem kind of sad.
Now, the thing about this game, there is well, not really a trailer. It's kind of more of a teaser.
Yeah, they do that. They like to show all these pre-rendered things, and the pre-rendered stuff
looks pretty, but it doesn't tell you anything.
It doesn't show you gameplay, and I always prefer gameplay to pre-rendered stuff. A little bit of the tease of the pre-rendered crap, and then...
the thing I'm hoping... Well, not really hoping, because they kept it... I was worried they were going to get rid of it in Battride War 2, but they kept it, is, in Muso games, usually you have a mount. And in these Battride War games...
You can get one, yes. You can get on a horse or something, yeah.
Well, in the Battride War games, every rider has their vehicle that they're allowed to use. So, with this game, that means you get the chance to play these riders and ride the classic vehicles.
So they've stated as such, that the vehicles
Not yet. I'm assuming that based off previous trends with the last 2 games.
Okay.
Because, really, though, it's not that hard to render these things. Now, there's a cell phone game out right now.
But I wonder, do they have to pay licenses to, say, Honda or Suzuki for using the likeness of their vehicle?
If they did, they would have already had to have paid some to Honda, at least, for the Heisei Rider bikes and cars. And admittedly, yeah, a lot of the older Showa Rider vehicles were Suzuki. Starting with the Cyclone, going all the way up to Rideron in Black RX. And the thing about it is, I want the chance to be able to use those. To see, they're riding on the Cyclone, running past people. The one thing I hope that they don't keep is that, you've seen me in playthroughs of the game, and even on YouTube playthroughs, when you're riding into a crowd of villains, whether it's shocker grunts or worms or...
They all kind of duck out of the way.
They duck out of the way. No, I want to hit them.
Yes, but realize this is a children's game. This is not Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage, where you can get on your motorcycle and then run people over and watch them explode. This is not that kind of a franchise.
But it should be. Now
you're 30. The target audience is 5.
Yeah, but I am the target audience because I have expendable income.
What's the game rated?
I don't know. I don't think it has a rating yet. Like, it's just announced.
It's probably A Zero, which would be the all.
Anybody can play
Anybody can play this rating out of Japan.
Now, the thing I don't like, as far as what I'm being told the plot is for this game, is that it's another time travel centric game. Therefore, Den-O plays a big part in the game. And don't get me wrong, I like Den-O, I really do.
Yeah, but time
I can only
travel-
take so much.
I can only take so much time travel.
Yeah, no, I get that. But just after a while, like, can we not do time travel? We just did time travel in this last movie. It's hard. Like, I was doing a count of how many series have had to use time travel, whether in the show or in a movie. It just keeps popping up over and over again where it really shouldn't. I'm watching a series about guys who use cars as weapons, little toy cars as weapons. You know what? The show needs time travel. Let's give it time travel. Boom! Surprise! Future. Time travel.
Surprise future. Alright, was there anything... I mean, I guess we can expect to see this at the Bandai Namco booth.
Yes,
over
you
at
better
Tokyo Game
believe
Show.
my butt is going to be there next week watching this thing, watching that booth like a hawk to see if there's any swag I can bring back.
Did they say that they were going to have anything playable?
I honestly don't know. I want to say that at previous Tokyo Game Shows, like for when they were releasing Battride War 2, there was a demo where you could play as Gaim, so I'm fingers crossed that I'll be able to play something.
Again, what's the
there.
release date? Have they announced any release date, or just a quarter?
Just next year, 2016.
Okay,
but
so
they'll probably have a release date, hopefully available.
I
there
imagine there will
Tokyo
be
Game
another
Show.
event where they have something playable, and perhaps it's not yet playable at Tokyo Game Show. But we'll see stuff.
Yes.
For sure we'll see stuff.
So definitely we'll get to report back to you guys on that in a week or two.
Alright, so let's go on to our next story, right? So
Yes.
not Battride War, and our second story. There we go. Now, this is old art, admittedly. King Kong, Godzilla. Oh, this is Josh.
Okay, so King Kong vs. Godzilla was a movie.
Yeah, it still
came
is
out-
a movie. It's not like it ceases to exist.
Yes.
Please continue.
Okay, the original came out in 1962. It was one of those, I guess you'd call it schoolyard sort of things, like, hey, who do you think would win in a fight, Godzilla or King Kong?
Like, Japan and America were both like, we got our own giant monster movies, and ours is better than yours, my penis is bigger than your penis, and so they had to have a penis fight, thus Godzilla versus King Kong.
I hope we never have to use the term penis fight on the show ever again.
Oh, well, we just said it twice. Penis fight.
Oh my god. Okay, so the original, came out in 1962, pitting these two classic monsters against each other. Godzilla, the king of the monsters, versus King Kong, basically on steroids, because actual King Kong is much shorter.
Much shorter, so they had to, like, give him growth hormones, and then...
Yeah.
Like, they didn't actually do that in the movie, I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, he was just generally bigger than he should have been.
Right.
But, of course, these two licensed properties are there with Legendary and Warner Brothers. And since Warner Brothers successfully...
Was it shot by Toho? Or no? Or was it shot by Warner Brothers?
The original was shot by Toho.
That's what I thought. Shot by Toho.
And, of course, we've had last year's successful Legendary release of Godzilla. And we've also seen... a little further back, but Peter Jackson's King Kong come out, and that was pretty successful. I really liked that movie, actually.
And now, Toho is in the middle of filming their own, another Godzilla movie.
Right now, actually.
Yeah, almost right this second, I would say.
Yes.
Hot off the heels of our Godzilla movie, which had its good moments, was not perfect, needed more Godzilla, but the Godzilla moments that were in that Godzilla movie were quite fun.
Yes.
So.
Now, the thing about it is, Kong Skull Island, which is the prequel movie that was going to be coming out from Universal, has now shifted hands, and that is now over at Warner Brothers now. So the studio has shifted completely. Now it's the guys who also have rights to Godzilla, which means now Warner Brothers and Legendary are planning on building this up to a crossover between the two characters again for this current generation, and I am scared.
I'm scared but excited, because it could be so good, because our Godzilla, our 2014 Godzilla, like I said, it was not a perfect movie.
By any means.
But it had really good moments, and I have high hopes for our next Godzilla movie, because I think they're probably going to address a lot of our previous concerns. And didn't we hear before it's supposed to be a lot more all-out monster fighting?
Well, there's a good chance that some of the teased monsters that they talked about back at Comic-Con, Rodan, Mothra, or Ghidra, will show up in these subsequent Godzilla sequels, but I don't think anything that was planned right off the bat was when they announced that they were thinking about King Kong coming back into the fray with Godzilla. And now it's looking more and more like this is going to be a thing. They're developing this hopefully right after, because Skull Island comes out in 2017, and then 2018 is supposed to be the Godzilla sequel, so hopefully just after that is when they're planning on getting this crossover back out.
We got a lot of monster fights to look forward to. I hope the majority of it is monster fights, and not teasing and blue-balling over what should be monster fights.
And then only giving Bryan Cranston so much to work with, and he's the best actor in your movie. I'm still mad about that.
I know, he was a very good character in that movie. And then he's just
dead.
He's just dead.
He's gone. So the thing about it that I'm wondering is, like, you think about it. King Kong, even if you're going by Skull Island as a prequel, he's pretty set aside from Godzilla, because we're talking about a modern day, like it happened in 2014. That's when he came up out of the ocean and defeated those Muto monsters over in San Francisco. Like, that's current events. How are you going to explain a King Kong from the past, like the 1920s or 1910s, contending with a Godzilla today?
Well, I imagine it would have to be, they have to create a completely different Godzilla, or use a Godzilla similar to our 2014 one. Why do you think it has to be 20s Godzilla?
No, I'm talking about King Kong.
Okay, why do you think it has to be 20s King Kong?
Well,
why not closer to this more recent one that came out, granted, years ago?
Well, see, like, I'll concede as much. Like, I don't think it's going to be a different Godzilla. I imagine it's the same Godzilla that they're pitting him against. As far as Kong is concerned, yeah, they're probably going to have to explain why he's similar, and maybe he's like a descendant King Kong from the one in the first movie.
Or why do they have to explain it? Because I'm pretty sure in the original Toho movie, they didn't friggin' explain it. They were just like, here's King Kong, he's enormous.
Well, yeah, admittedly, but you could get away with that a lot easier back in the 60s. You didn't have to explain that much. You just had to put it in front of people.
You know what? Maybe I don't need an explanation, Josh. Maybe I just want to see monsters beat the crap out of each other. Maybe that's all I care about.
No, I care about that, too.
It's like wrestling. do you really care about what else is going on, or do you just want to see really big, stupid dudes beat the crap out of each other?
Well, they're not dudes. It's a lizard and a monkey. Or ape, I'm sorry.
I was talking about wrestling.
Oh. I was talking about this.
I was comparing
okay. That actually brings up a good point.
Don't be dumb.
That brings up a good point. Toho, right now, with their Godzilla, they've said they're going to enhance him a little bit, but it's a dude in a suit.
Yes.
Over at Toho.
Because to Toho and to the Japanese in general, the rubber suit is important. The rubber suit says this is a practical effects special effect movie. To them, that's the soul of Tokusatsu. Yes.
As practical and as realistic as you can get it.
Yes.
Now, over here, of course, our Godzilla was large and CG. But the question I'm wondering about is, like, coming to this movie, are they going to keep that up? You know, a CG monkey versus a CG lizard?
If it's coming out of Universal and Warner Brothers...
Well, Warner Brothers,
yeah. Warner Brothers, then yes. It will be CG, I promise.
I just think
I promise.
I just would have liked the idea of seeing how the Toho Godzilla, however he looks now, and I understand he looks fairly close to the original, just a little edgier, would have gone up against a modern suit King Kong.
Yeah, that would be cool, but even our most recent King Kong movie wasn't a dude in a suit. It was CG too.
His was actually motion captured by Andy Serkis,
which is CG.
Well, but see, that's the thing about it. That gave him a humanity that really came across on the screen there.
Yes.
I would then be curious then to ask, would they get Andy Serkis back to do mocap for this King Kong versus Godzilla, and then would they give Godzilla more of a personality? Because you think about those older Godzilla movies in the classic era, they had a Godzilla that had personality.
Yeah, I agree.
Even because I'm not talking about the one where he talks, because sometimes I pretend that one doesn't exist. No, he's got a personality. You know, he's kind of not snarky because he doesn't talk, but he's how do I say it? Like, he's sometimes a little aloof
Yeah, I get
to what's
that.
going around. Like, oh, crush something. Oh, well, and then keeps walking. And like, I'm hoping there's something to that here. And I'm also, like you look at the original plot. It's basically they just transplanted the King Kong plot. Hey, somebody wants to make money. They need an attraction. We found a monkey on an island who's huge. Let's bring him over. Oh, and Godzilla decided to attack at the same time. You don't really have to jack with that, right?
No, it's very, very simple.
Yeah, just keep that together.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They leave it that way, I think it'll be fine. Like, it doesn't need any more depth than that. Just make sure they actually fight, and don't cock tease it for, like, an hour or more, you know?
Yeah. No, I would hope, like, that's unrelated to this movie, but I would hope eventually Legendary decides to bring back Jet Jaguar.
That would be amazing.
I love Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar's awesome. It's just that one movie, but it was friggin' awesome.
Alright.
So we'll keep you guys up to date on this movie as it develops. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully we won't have to complain.
That's the best we can hope for.
That's the best we can hope for right now. But we'll get back to you on that.
Yes.
And so we left to our last story, which is...
yeah, so Square Enix, Tokyo Game Show. Really, I want to talk Tokyo Game Show for a second. In fact, I'm looking at my list of pictures, and I think there was something that we didn't use before. You gave me a picture.
Oh, you're right, I did. Well, we'll go ahead and mention that because
I want to mention this for a second because, you know, let's just talk about Tokyo Game Show for a second, as we kind of did earlier in your previous segment. We're excited about so many things.
Because we're going to see so many things when we're over there.
Excited about Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco had a pretty huge lineup that we were looking at, like, last week or the week before.
Last week, yeah.
Sega apparently has a lot going on. Atlas is like Persona.
And the fans are like, how much? Give me.
But to go back to Sega, you know that game Project X Zone, right?
Yeah, we got the first one over here.
Yeah, it's a kind of a fighting game throwing together all these other Sega characters, and I never played it, but I kind of wanted to because it has Sakura and Ogami from Sakura Taisen, Sakura Wars, which we only ever got the 5th game of. We skipped 1 through 4 for some stupid reason. Yeah, and this is one of the main characters in the first couple of games. But now, Project X Zone 2, I'm so excited. They've announced so many characters, but the only one I'm really excited about is, if I can get him up top, Segata Sanshiro!
Yes! The man, the myth, the legend.
He looks just like he should, just like his actor. And
supposedly, because for those of you who don't know, Sega came out with this character to promote the sale of the Sega Saturn, played by Hiroshi Fujioka, who originally played Kamen Rider 1.
Yes.
And he goes around judo throwing people, judo chopping people, all to make them play the Sega Saturn.
Yes. So I'm excited that he's in this game, but like really, that's technically not the point of this segment.
We just really like Segata Sanshiro.
Well, especially because I knew we had that picture and we neglected to use it.
Yeah, I kind of fudged that one, but yes, that's something we have to look forward to from Sega. But really, we're here to let you
Just give me a second here, alright? So we're looking at Square Enix Presents. They've got a whole bunch of stuff that they're planning on live streaming. Final Fantasy 15 apparently is going to have some airtime during the Tokyo Game Show. There's going to be, Dragon Quest Builders, Star Ocean Integrity and Faithfulness, so, Just Cause 3, so a lot of their really big mainlining titles are going to be there. But the thing I wanted to talk about for a second is that somewhere in the middle of their list, on the 19th, which is the public day that we're going to the show, mind you, at 12:30 to 1 o'clock p.m., they have
in their local time.
Yeah, they have a secret event. Ooh. Oh, what's the secret? Like, it both frightens me and has me a little like, oh, are you actually gonna maybe announce something I care about? Like, that would be amazing. Or
are you gonna announce another announcement?
Oh my god. Please say something about Kingdom Hearts 3, something about Final Fantasy 15, but Final Fantasy 15 is supposed to have their own segment. But they said that Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't showing up at Tokyo Game Show.
But
there's this
we've got this thing that we're hearing about now.
Now we hear that there's something parading itself around, calling itself Kingdom Hearts 2.9, which is almost 3.
Almost 3.
But it's not quite.
But it's not.
Why are you spending time working on these games that are not your mainlining thing that you should be working on? Why are you doing that? Why? Like,
okay,
this information comes from a LinkedIn profile from a dude who used to work at Square Enix, and he worked on all of these different titles, and it includes Kingdom Hearts 2.9 and Kingdom Hearts 3.
So, understand what we're saying here. Kingdom Hearts 2.9 is being listed separately from Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's like, did you need to give yourself another distraction? Did you really? I gave you one job, work on 3. Okay, so I just added some crap to 2? That's what you wanted, right?
No! Nobody wants this!
Are you sure?
Nobody wants.
Okay.
Nobody asked for this.
I put some more stuff on 2. Is that a 3?
Almost. Are you gonna call it 3?
Well, it's not really. It's a 2, but I added stuff.
No, nobody wants this.
Are you sure?
No, I'm sure.
I'm gonna put a pre-order up. We'll see what the people want. Like why? Yeah, they're stalling at this point.
Yes.
Why would you do that at all? And
why not just focus on what people have been asking you for the better part of a decade?
Look, I'll give you your answer. What exactly is 2.9? Not friggin' 3.
Exactly.
All right, hashtag not friggin' 3.
Alright.
I'll coin that one right now.
And it's funny, it's brought up Square Enix to Mars Girl is like Konami is to Jim Sterling. And speaking of Konami, like, I brought this up just to have something else available to talk about for Tokyo Game Show. I love this Konami lineup for Tokyo Game Show. It's Metal Gear Solid 5, which is out already, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2016. Plus 2 mobile games, and a partner title called Tokyo Xanadu, which is going to be at the Sony booth. So, good job, Konami! Good
You really
job.
screwed the pooch. You really banged the dog.
Pro Evolution Soccer!
No,
Woo!
so, like, the thing about it at this point, it's... Has it gotten past laughable now, what Square does and doesn't announce?
Maybe. I don't know if it's funny or if it's angering anymore. Like, I want to be there, but I don't know why I want to be there anymore. Like, I want to be there so that maybe I can, I don't know, Snapchat my angry faces to somebody out there. I don't know.
You might be able to do that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because it's going to be interesting to see just what this... Because everything that they've been releasing over the last, like, say, 2 months, at least, 2-3 months, up till now tells me whatever the secret is not going to be that great. It's probably going to be crap. It's going to be something they're going to say, oh, it's so inventive. Oh, we're patting ourselves on the back so hard. Oh, yeah, such a good job, Square Enix.
Oh, I love
good
how
job. Here's a
I
treat.
just found out today they're super excited because they're finally releasing Final Fantasy V on Steam, which would be cool. I would totally buy it, except they're using the graphics that they're using in the iOS and the Android versions of the game, which are all muddy looking and... Like, why did you redo the sprites? It didn't need to be redone. It was beautiful the way it was. What are you doing? Stop it. No. Don't touch it.
Stop.
Don't you...
Stop.
No means no, Square.
No means no.
Means no.
Yeah, and I don't doubt after Kingdom Hearts 2.9 we're going to see Kingdom Hearts 2.928374 by 9384, like, whichever version that is, because it's going to be not friggin' 3.
No, it's not. That's all I really wanted to say. I know that's not a significant amount of news, but it was really important to me, and we're about to be out there this next week, you know, so...
If it's not anything related to Kingdom Hearts 3, if it's another friggin' Final Fantasy spin-off, like, I'll say this now, and then I'll laugh if it actually happens. If we go out there and they announce another Final Fantasy project that has Lightning as the protagonist, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Why would you say that? No!
I'm gonna laugh so hard. And I'm gonna make sure I get my troll face on Snapchat and you're just losing your stuff because they decided, you know what 15 needs? less work. Let's bring lightning back one more
I
time.
should grab that tea from you and just dump it out all over you.
No, I like my Arizona the way it is. Thank you very much.
You make me so mad. Why do you do... That's
but
really
the thing
all
is,
I wanted
I'm not
to
the
say.
one making you mad. You know they might do it. They might do something stupid.
That's the thing, they might!
And that's the thing, like, we're not...
Why, though? That's all I wanted to say. I want to be excited so bad because I used to be, you know? I used to be a really passionate fan, and I appreciated everything that came out, and then after a certain point in time, it just didn't happen for me anymore. And I want it back. And I want
I understand
and I
that.
want to feel something when I'm there at this really awesome event. I haven't been to a Tokyo Game Show in 9 years, and I want to latch on to something.
I understand the way it works, and I'll put it to you this way. Like, say, Star Wars. A lot of people felt burned by Lucas when it came to the prequels. And you wanted that same excitement you had going into The Phantom Menace, but you don't want that feeling you got when you walked out of The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
You want somebody like an Abrams to come along and revitalize, saying, hey, we're going back to basics, we're going back to what made this franchise what it was, we're going to give you guys something to hope in, we really hope you look forward to it, because we're putting everything we wanted into this based on all the stuff that made us want to do it in the first place, which was the inspiration of the original project.
Yes.
Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts desperately need that.
Yes,
because
I agree.
at this point, you've got people, you know, holding on to hope. Like, I think I've made this comparison before, like, talking about the release date for Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts is akin to those doomsday announcer, you know, side of the road people, like, they're wearing the sandwich board, like, the end of the world's coming on September 22nd at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time.
And then it passes, and you're like, hey, how about that prediction? And then they're just missing. Like,
yeah, that person just went hiding.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, we don't have that. There's no J.J. Abrams here. There's no nobody. We've got Old Man Tabata telling us how he wants us to play his old man games. We've got friggin' Nomura. He doesn't know what he's working on.
No, he's just all over the place between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I hear we might hear something about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's the other thing we didn't consider either, is that it could be an announcement about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because I was actually thinking about this at work earlier today, about what this announcement could be, and I almost wondered, like, you think about, I forget how many years ago it was, when Beyonce dropped that album, and she's like, okay, I'm dropping an album, guys.
She didn't do any advertising.
No advertising, just boom, it's out, go get it, and it's sold.
Well, you remember, somebody a few weeks back was saying, hey, we bet that Final Fantasy VII is going to be out in 2016. And I was like, if it's out in 2016, I will eat my hat.
Yes, and my brother is making sure that, should that happen, he has purchased a hat that you will eat.
He already bought the hat?
No, actually, I think he said he was going to buy the hat, but then he had to go get an oil change.
It doesn't matter.
But he's going to make sure you eat the hat. You will have your choice of sauces.
Okay, that's good, so long as I have something to go along with it. Lots of ketchup, at the very least.
At least.
At the very least.
Yeah, right. You know what? I would take that. Let Kojima do a Final Fantasy.
He'd probably do a good one.
He'd probably do it.
He'd write a good one, yeah.
Because, you know, we were talking about that last week at the end of the program. Kojima...
Where could he go?
Where could he go? Because right now he ain't going back to Konami. That's not happening.
No.
They need help.
Yes.
Desperately. They needed help. They need Terminator help. They need help. You need to go back in time before the Skynet that is Nomura took over and ruined the future. We need you to go back in time and stop that from happening.
Alright. In any case, that's what I'm kind of sort of looking forward to.
I have to say, I like the ideas of how everybody wants you to prepare your hat here.
Yeah. Tempura fried and all that.
Corn chip sombrero. I like that.
Alright. But before we wrap everything up, I really want to get to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I'll show it again real quick. Here's the poster.
Well, let me get rid of this image here. So yes, this is the extra poster that we ended up getting on Force Friday over at Toys R Us, and I don't think anyone else is giving away, or was giving away that poster. So we got an extra one. We want to give it to somebody. I hope some of you are on Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and show again. You can tweet me at MarsGirl, or you can tweet Josh at JoshKnight1st. And be sure to use the hashtag BTBR for Beyond the Black Rims. We're about to say 3 questions out loud. Alright?
Yes.
So have Twitter ready. We are basing this on... you might not get all 3 answers right. We might not have anybody get all 3 answers right. That's entirely possible. So we're going to base it on, over the probably the next few hours, people who are watching, who got the most right and how quickly they got it right. So the first person to get the most right, and we'll be watching and keeping tally, then we're going to contact you. We will follow you, and so that we can start a direct message conversation so that we can get the poster directly to you.
Yes.
Yes.
So these are 3 questions. Hopefully if you're paying attention, at least with tonight's show, or really over the course of this whole show,
but definitely
as a whole,
tonight's show too.
You should be able to know the answers to these questions. So, question 1. What drink do I usually have on most shows?
What drink does Josh usually have on most shows? I have just messaged that question into the chat room, so again, you can tweet the answer to us, use the hashtag BTBR. I'll give you guys a second to think about that.
Question 2. By what name do we on the show refer to Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice?
Dawn of Justice. By what name do we on the show refer to Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice? That's question number 2. Again, tweet it at us, hashtag BTBR.
Yes. And then question 3, what is the name of Kaylin's cat?
What is the name of Kaylin's cat?
Your cat.
My cat.
Yes.
It's mine.
And the thing
She's
is, we've
kind
got
of
the
yours,
answer
too.
to 2 of these questions in our laps right now.
Yep.
But we're not going to show them.
I mean,
We don't want to make it that easy.
I can show the cat, like, she's
Yeah,
not...
show the cat.
You can't see her name. She was way more into that than I expected. She was
Well,
alright with that.
I talked to her about participating tonight, and she got so happy.
She really did. Like, hey, you wanna come and participate? You wanna come down in the middle of the show? And then she got up and she's all, her eyes got all big, ran up to
Yes.
Josh all happy.
But yes, those are the 3 questions. Again, you can always hit us up over on Twitter with those answers. Make sure to use the hashtag, and we will announce the winner tomorrow night. That having been said, we are off next week because we are going to be out of the country.
Yes.
In Japan.
That's true.
And then hopefully, depending on how we feel when we get back, we may have a show in 2 weeks. If not, the week after. Again, you'll keep tabs on that on social media. We'll keep you guys aware of what's going on as far as the trip is concerned. We'll probably post pictures, things
more
like
than
that.
likely, especially from Tokyo Game Show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
But it's going to be a good trip.
Yes.
We hope to bring back a lot of information for you guys.
But since you guys are live here with us right now, please continue to stick around with us for the next half an hour, because we're going to just continue and do Q&A related stuff. So we'll just shoot the breeze, and maybe we'll keep talking about Tokyo Game Show stuff, because it's coming up, and it's going to be awesome and fun.
Yes, but in the meantime, you can always talk to us over on Twitter. During the week, I am at JoshKnight1st.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And that having been said, that's been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We'll talk to you guys later.
Good night.